Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back for another animation analysis video, and of course y'all know that I had to take a look at my GOAT, the 59 jacket Goku. If you are unaware, this is my favorite fit for Goku. It is so good. I always love characters who have like one strict fit that they basically wear for the entirety of their existence practically whenever they get casual clothes like this. And this jacket is fire. I've always loved this fit for Goku. Obviously the outfit he has right before the Cell game. So since this is my favorite fit for Goku, I know that I had to do a video on this. I don't even know if people are gonna care. I don't even know if this video will get views. It's so weird. Sometimes the free-to-play units, you guys go crazy with the views, and sometimes they don't do good at all. So I don't know, we'll see. But I'm making this video for myself, dang it, because this is actually a really cool release. If you are unaware, this guy actually came out last year as the April Fool's Day card. As you can see on the JP Dokkan Wiki here, he released April 2nd, 2023. Obviously, this is what they usually do, right? They do the whole fake Dokkan game mode thing for April Fools, and then the day after April Fool's Day, they're like, oh, sorry about that. Here's the reward that we're giving you as like an apology for making this fake game mode and not being able to implement it. And obviously last year was the Dokkan Fishing, so of course obviously, you know, this comes from the episode where Gohan and Goku go fishing. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find just a solid clip of this, so I was only able to find this YouTube video called Super Saiyan Goku and Gohan Fun Moments. So I mean, I'll throw this in the description obviously, since we're going to use it as a little bit of a comparison. But obviously this is why they brought out this guy. But obviously this year they are giving my boy a glow up with a TUR as well as a intro animation, which nobody really expected, because obviously, like, what? I don't think that I've really ever seen them do that for a unit where they give a character, like, I don't know, something else additional like that, because obviously it's something that they add to his passive to give him the additional, but they still have to give him the animation. So regardless though, let's go ahead and hop into it here. Obviously we're going to watch through this one time through, and then we will go ahead and analyze. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm using the Dokkan World one and not my literal own upload of this, it's because obviously I got it from the Dokkan Wiki, right? This one. And when you're watching animations on the Dokkan Wiki, we'll just use Goku as an example, right? Not only does it have this big fat Dokkan Wiki watermark, which is fine, obviously, it should, because if it's from the Dokkan Wiki, you should know that it's coming from there. But there is no enemy sprite in the way that the Dokkan Wiki displays it, because it's basically just displaying the in-game files in the way that it's coded, right? Goku's currently fighting John Cena as we speak in this essay, but obviously I wanted to have it be, you know, Goku actually hitting something in the super attack animation. And we will talk about the difference between the, I just realized I spelled Dokkan World wrong. Whoops! Dokkan World? I don't even know what that says, bro. Regardless, though, let's go ahead and actually hop into the animations here. So first of all, we have the intro animation, which is great, if I do say so myself. This animation of Krillin and Goku and Gohan all standing there, and obviously we have the little shot of Goku at the end there, which is awesome. I really like this. It's super simple, right? It's super casual, and again, for an intro animation, it works really well just to like introduce the character into the scene. I did not even realize he had a sticker. So, by the way, for the super attack animation, it is really interesting to see what they changed from the SSR, because it is really not a lot, right? I know you're probably watching this animation and going, hold on, that animation that you just showed me 2 seconds ago is no different from what we just watched. Well, my dear viewer, let me show you the difference before we get into the meat and potatoes of the animations for this one. So, if we go back to here, right, Goku stands up in the beginning, he instant transmissions, and then he does these punches and kicks, right, before he hits the enemy away and then kicks them into the tree, right, where then obviously the card art appears, and then you have the glowing fist. If we go back here, right, you can see that the difference is that obviously Goku stands up, teleports in, he gives one kick, and then the enemy is already against the tree, right? So basically, all they did for the super attack was basically just add in all of these extra like punches and kicks before the final kick away to the tree, right? Which I think is fine, right? I mean, again, this is a free-to-play unit, not to mention the technically April Fool's free-to-play unit. So, you know, it's cool that they even not only just gave him an updated essay anyway, they obviously gave him a whole new animation with the intro. So I don't think it's a super big deal they didn't go crazy for his TURSA. But let's go ahead and take a look at the intro animation. Obviously, it is very, very simple. And of course, by the way, keep in mind, when we are talking about these free-to-play units, we are not rating them on the same tier, or I don't want to say taking them as seriously, because I feel like that's not fair to say. I mean more so like we're obviously kind of looking at them on a different spectrum almost, or like a different level than we are obviously these big boy Dokkan Fest animations. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we're looking at. So, of course, we have the fish jump in the beginning, which looks really good, right? Super fluid. And I love the way that the water looks. I swear every time Dokkan animates water, it always looks really good. Obviously, not just the, like, the blue, you know, square there in the beginning, but, like, the splashes and the little ripples from the fish. Not to mention, obviously, having the, like, reflection of the lights kind of shining in the water. That is really, really cool, and I think it definitely looks really, really good. Obviously, for this part, we have Goku basically just stick his arm out, right, and point at the fish, right? I don't think anything too crazy with this animation. It is kind of cool to see, though, that they do make it a point that obviously his hand comes out of the jacket, which is a very interesting thing to note. If you look at his hand in the jacket here for this animation, let me see if I can spot the frame there. It is in the jacket for a fat minute, and then yeah, here you can see that they actually change the shape of the sleeve to basically be like, yeah, this is what it would look like if he was gently pulling it out of his pants pocket, right? Obviously then, you know, adjusting his sleeve to then raise his hand out of the pocket, right, and then be able to point it forward. So I think that's a cool little attention to detail, right? Something simple, but something pretty neat. And they do have Goku's hand move a little bit, in like two stages almost, basically, right? They kind of have him like gently pointing almost, and then like, you know, his finger is fully straight, obviously pointing at the fish. You know, nothing too crazy, but again, obviously it works. And of course, intro animations are a lot of these sort of like standing still moments most of the time, where characters are just sort of like coming onto the scene or being, again, introduced, right? You obviously have Gohan talking a little bit here with Krillin and Goku looking at him, and of course you then get this super nice close-up shot of Goku here obviously talking. Now, I will say the really unfortunate thing about this animation, right, and I think the only thing that really stinks, and ironically enough, it has nothing to do with the actual animation itself, is that it's not voiced. Obviously, you wouldn't be hearing the voices anyway from my video, because I always play these muted with music in the background, but it is a little bit of a shame because they have not been doing free-to-play units for voices recently. I don't know why. I don't know if it's something along the lines of like they just figured, oh hey, well, you know, people aren't going to be spending money for these characters, so why would we bother? Or if it's just they're allocating their resources elsewhere. I'm not really sure, but it is kind of unfortunate that that is the case. However, I will say with these animations, right, in terms of the characters' faces, I think that they actually did a really good job, right? Obviously, this isn't the exact side-by-side, right, that I'm going to be able to give you here, but I think if we take a look at some of these scenes, right, like it kind of looks like to me that this Goku face right here, right, could definitely be this one, right, that they're referencing. Again, I'm not exactly sure, because obviously this is just some random clips that I pulled up on YouTube to be able to give you a little bit of a comparison between the anime and the game. But I will say, assuming this is the case, and I think just for the most part, I think they actually improved the look of the characters' faces. Like, I don't think Goku looks terrible here by any means. I mean, this was obviously, well, I believe anyway, I shouldn't say obviously since I'm not like 100% confident, but I believe this was technically a filler episode, because I think that the Cell games didn't actually have this in the manga. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I vaguely remember this being a filler episode when looking into this episode originally, excuse me. Regardless, though, yeah, I think, like, the faces on Goku here, right, and just kind of in general for this entire, like, fishing episode, right, where they, obviously, you know, like take a break before the Cell games begin. I kind of think that even though the faces obviously like aren't bad on the characters in these episodes, right? You can tell by the look of the hair. I think just overall looking at the work that they did on the intro, the faces just look more consistently good, right? And I think that that is really, really cool. It's also interesting to see, right? They very much so kept with Goku's kind of like puffy hair look, rather than like obviously in this filler episode it's kind of super jagged and it kind of looks like it was animated by the B team for the Super Saiyan hair in a lot of these scenes, right? Like just the way that the hair looks just kind of looks a little bit like very, very sharp, even though it's kind of supposed to be that fluffy Super Saiyan hair. So it's cool that they also kind of kept it consistent in the animation by obviously them bringing it back. So I think they did a very good job with this, right? Overall, again, like it's nothing super insane, right? It's nothing obviously that's like, whoa, this is the best animation in the game, but I'm satisfied with it. It's cool for a free-to-play unit, and it's awesome that a free-to-play unit even got an intro like this, right? And the fact that Dokkan can still do stuff like this, even for free units where they improve upon the anime in terms of quality, is really, really cool to see. So let's actually go ahead and take a look at the super attack for the TUR. Now, I don't think that I took a look at the SSR. I don't know if it was just I decided not to, or if for some reason I just wasn't doing these units or something at the time, but I don't think I've ever actually taken a look at this guy for a video. And obviously this is not much different from the SSRs we discussed before. So obviously we have Goku stand up here, and of course we have him quickly bring his hand to his forehead to do the instant transmission, right? With a very simple kind of effect, right? It's nothing too crazy in terms of like the teleportation. There's definitely been better ones in Dokkan, right? Rather than just the white lines and the character popping into existence. But I mean, again, it works for the purpose, right? It's functional for sure. We then obviously have Goku come in, and it's kind of interesting the way that they animate this, right? Because he comes in like this, right, in this pose, and they basically have that be a knee into the Cybermen, right, before obviously then we have Goku then throw a punch, right, another punch, and then a kick, punch, knee, right, before the final little flurry. And obviously then having his fist come from off screen to hit the enemy, and then a kick, right? I will say the only, I guess, kind of awkward thing about this, right? I think that the flurry looks fine, especially in full motion, right? Obviously it looks a little bit slow in the slow-mo. And I will say it is cool for the one asset that they have him kicking here, right? You can actually see the jacket kind of flaring up, and then you see the white tee underneath. So that is pretty cool attention to detail, right? Because they could have definitely just had the jacket like kind of like this the whole time, where it's more like, you know, not like stuck to his body, but you know what I mean, where it's like it's not really moving that much for this. And when it comes to the punch, that's really the only thing that I think kind of looks a little weird. It's like, oh, this punch should definitely be throwing the Cybermen that way, right? Like off screen. It should definitely be throwing them to the right. But then obviously it's like the Cybermen stuck in the air, and then they have Goku, you know, jump up to then kick him away, right? With the three poses there. It's kind of interesting, but, you know, it works well enough. And obviously then we have the Cybermen launch against the tree right before Goku teleports in. And of course we have the card art once again, which I actually really like this card art. I think it's pretty good. And we then, of course, have the same punch as was there before. I do like the lighting effects on this, albeit I do feel like Goku's motion on this whole animation, right, in terms of his arms, is definitely a little bit weird. It feels a little bit like lacking, like there isn't a lot of impact to it. To be fair, it isn't supposed to be that crazy because obviously he's not trying to destroy everything in sight, but, you know, with that being said, right, it definitely still feels a little bit awkward in the movement, right, in like the execution of it. And it's interesting too that the way that they actually do this, right, is that they kind of have him move through an impact frame, right? He's charging up the fist, and then obviously here, right, you have the attack already in motion once the impact frame ends. And they do that for other animations, but it's just kind of interesting to see. I do kind of remember, isn't the thing where he punches the tree that he's not actually like trying to like break the tree or something, and it's trying to like just shake the apples off the tree? I genuinely don't remember. In the comment section below, you can correct me on that, if that even is a scene in the anime. I vaguely remember something like that, but I could honestly just be gaslighting myself and remembering this essay. But with that being said, the final things we have to take a look at here, the lighting on Goku's hand looks really good, I will say that. when he obviously has the aura around it and the lighting changes. As well, obviously, we have the little, like, fade of the tree, which is cool to see because obviously it's just a little bit of emphasis of, like, oh, the power's flowing through the tree, right? And then obviously we have the little dust cloud with the apples falling down, and Goku catching one is the perfect little touch to end this animation. And obviously, that will end up being a KO screen if you do get that. So yeah, pretty cool little animation. Again, it is nothing crazy in terms of, like, you know, being like a super high quality animation or anything like that. I think what's here for the free-to-play unit that, you know, we have here is pretty high quality, obviously, for the standard that we hold these free units to. And I think it works really well, right? Obviously, it is a very simple update, but a very effective update to a card that, you know, I didn't even expect to, like, get anything additional, right? Like, I feel like usually when they do these cards, they just kind of, you know, give them the same essay, obviously give them a new art, and then call it a day, right? They never give them, like, a new intro or even, like, an additional part to their super. Maybe sometimes that more so than often, but regardless, though, yeah, I think they did a very good job on this guy. The last thing that I want to see is obviously the intro is not going to be in 2x speed, but I want to see the super attack in 2x speed because I just want to see the flurry. The flurry looks very wacky in 2x speed. Okay, I was going to say, does the flurry look any better in 2x speed when he does all those punches and kicks? It still looks a little bit goofy, to be honest, but again, it's a free-to-play unit, so I'm not going to be too hard on it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this unit in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this one. I think they did a really good job with this guy. I do hope that they do this more for future free-to-play units that don't have a TUR, where they give them some kind of like bonus animation or something like that and add more onto the essay, because I think that that's a really cool way to do it, and honestly, it is definitely welcome. Obviously, more animations for me to take a look at, and obviously making these free cards more interesting is always really, really cool, right? It gives you more of a reason to go out of your way to use these guys for sure. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy, and I will catch you in the next one. Dokkan, it's out. Peace.